What's up guys, Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, a special VOD review from not K3 Soju. This is Souless watching K3 Soju actually, and surely he's about to get into game there. Oh, he's got this cool arena and everything. Look, I wanted to VOD review Souless. Souless is a fun person to VOD review. I feel like a very, very strong reroll player and just good, TFT player in general when he wants to be good at TFT. But he got an augment this game that I really, really want to talk about. We haven't done a VOD review on it yet, and it is one of the best augments that you can hit this patch so far. So wanted to do a VOD review on that. Before we get too far into the VOD, I do want to shout out that Metafy is actually continuing their contest to see who can get the most signups for groups. So if you guys are interested in supporting my group, I also added some extra tiers if you want to just pay a little bit extra to get some cool stuff. The base tier is still giga cheap, gives you 10% off on coaching. So if you ever want to get coaching, it basically pays for itself, and you get access to coaching VODs. I have some cool VODs in here, some warrior reroll, like a few Callista game, Eldritch type stuff, and I'm going to be posting more as I do more and more coaching sessions. If you do the extra tiers, you get access to stuff like Discord roles where you can chat with me. This is really just if you want to be like a really cool person, and you get a little bit more off if you're interested. But yeah, they're running it through this entire next month. So if you subscribe to my Metafy group, not only do you get all that cool stuff, but you also help me win the contest and be like the best group, which, very, very pog if you guys were to do such a thing. All right, so Souless here, really not too much direction so far. Nothing really in terms of like item slams and anything like that. But first augment here, we get Spider Queen, and this is an immediate rip from Souless in this situation. So we take Spider Queen here. I didn't want to just, throw it into the VOD and talk about Spider Queen. I wanted to do what I think is a really, really good way to play TFT when you are maybe, not super familiar with something like Spider Queen. You can go to Explore, this is on Tactics.tools, throw in Spider Queen, throw in Elise. If you want to, specify that she's 3-star with 3 items, that will give you like slightly more accurate stats, but you're gonna get, decent stats regardless. Go to items here and then change it to Delta. I usually do craftable here because, I don't care that much about Orn items. So then you can see like what is generally good on Spider Queen. The statistics are really saying like an AP item, a healing item in BT looks pretty good. Warmogs looks very, very good in general. This is just sorted by Delta. You can also look at play rate and see lots of people are going for stuff like BT Archangels. Statistically, it looks like maybe Crown Guard's a little bit better than Archangels, but as you can see in our shop right here, we do have Archangels as a possibility. So this is a really, really nice way to get an idea for what's actually good in our spot. Because we rip Spider Queen here, we have the Archangels that we can grab here, and then after that it's not so straightforward to me. Just looking at the numbers, you could go for something out of this rod like a Death Cap or a Spark. You probably don't want Death Cap with Archangels. You'd like to get to a healing item. Hand of Justice looks not amazing in the stats, so curious to see what Souless builds here, because when you take an augment like this, it's all about optimization. It's not about so many people will be like, oh, you just hit the augment and GG's, and hey, this is a great spot. We already have 6 Elises. But what you want to do when you're in a spot like this, when you're playing an augment like this, is optimize everything. Optimize the items that you take, optimize the board that you play. If you play for strongest board and save a little bit of extra HP compared to someone else who plays the augment and just goes brain off. But starting out with this Archangel is really nice. But what I would say is we have 6 Elises. I like the spot for that, but it is a little interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what Souless actually builds out of his items from here, because we have no BT component. We do have a Warmogs component, so maybe this build goes towards Warmogs, and then we figure out a last item, maybe a Gunblade or a Hodge as our healing item. That seems pretty reasonable to me, but we'll see. We'll see what Souless does. But yeah, Souless, I feel like, tends to be quite good at these type of reroll comps. He's a very good degenerate player. There will be patches where he just straight up plays one reroll comp or one comp most of the patch. He's looking at setting Rod here, which is kind of interesting, because in my head, there's a world where this Rod actually doesn't end up on Elise, and he opts to not actually end up putting the Rod onto Elise. It's a little scary, in my opinion, putting the Rod on this Elise here, because what if we do end up with something like a Warmogs Hodge? Then, the Rod is going to make things very, very awkward for us. We get to see who our next opponent is, which isn't really anything here. Normally you do want to, and you see the entire early game so far holding on to this Namzi, with the idea that, of course, if we can pick up a Shyvana, then we can play towards a Dragon's opener, and then you eventually play towards other stuff. This is kind of cool though. Random Kassadin on the board here, with just the idea that Kassadin is the highest unit quality that we can get. Yeah, I like the belt on Elise, because this is probably always going on Elise. A Warmogs, worst case, like a Redemption would be fine. This Redemption if we get tier, might end up being a Hodge. I'm really curious to see what items Souless ends up taking here, because I think, you know, where you go from here is really, really important. Obviously, we've taken a broken augment, and this augment is very, very strong. You can see just with the archangels on Elise, she's doing an insane amount of work. But where you go from here, I think, is what's most important. So Warmogs here. I'm curious if we don't get Warmogs, what we go for here. Yeah, he wants to pick up tier, but he can't get it. He's looking at Chain here, which is interesting. Sword obviously is for BT. There's maybe a Crown Guard slam is the idea here from Souless. The item looks good in the statistics. I imagine it's not as good here as it normally would be, because we already have all this AP from the Archangels, but we are just going to make the Crown Guard here. So these are going to be our Elise items. It is kind of, it's still a defensive item, but it's interesting. We're probably not going to end up with like a dedicated healing item built onto Elise here. But I think Souless realizes that we're on a 3 streak here. We really would like to continue our streak here, and like slamming this Crown Guard probably it did win us this fight. And if we can play for a 5 streak here, that's fantastic for us. So very, very smart by Souless. I don't know what this is. This his match history or somebody else's? I don't know. But very, very smart by Souless to actually go for the slam here when he's on a 3 streak here. It's a good slam. The statistics, like we looked at earlier, do support it, and it makes sense. Interesting that we didn't play double Jace here on this board. I was looking at double Jace. Jace kind of a damage dealer and a tank with Shapeshifter in, but he opts just to keep this Kassadin. It looks like he rates this Kassadin unit pretty highly as just a random +1 threat on this board, and boom, that's 5 streak with 6 Elises. This spot looks so good, and I mean, it's all because he made that Crown Guard, right? If he had not made Crown Guard, there's he almost certainly would have lost that last fight. So it makes a lot of sense from Souless's spot, and I think was a very good slam in a spot where like the items were a little bit awkward, right? So I like this a lot. Looking for Warmogs, I guess here we could also, if say you get like a full BT here, end up popping off BT when we hit Elise 3 and just pop the belt off. So I'm interested to see, what is that, a chain? Ugh, these items are a little bit they're very, very awkward. We take just a random 1 cost there, not or a 1-star unit, not so bad. I want to roll down here to 32 or 33 gold. I think it's 30. It depends on what your streak is. We can't actually get the full roll down. Yeah, so let's actually rolling kind of slowly here, and also not finding any Elises. A bit of an unfortunate roll down. There's an Elise finally, and now that he's this far, I think you probably dip down a little further. Looks like, yeah, he's definitely considering it. He's also going to give up on the Namzi 3 idea, and he does finally get the Elise. I think Namzi 3 in our position was pretty hard to go for, so we end up winning that fight as well, which is nice. I mean, it can't be Prismatic, can't be Assassins. Ooh, Radiant Refactor here. So this is another great spot to look at the stats. One, you can even look at Augment stats, and you can say Shapeshifter +1 tends to not have amazing stats. 3.62, you can see looks pretty good, but then if you look at the average of the actual comp itself, not amazing. And then Radiant Refactor here, about the same in the statistics actually, so it's really just what do you want. I kind of like Radiant Refactor here because it allows us to slam something immediately for Elise. But the other thing is, okay, we take Radiant Refactor here, what do we build? Boom, change this over to Radiant items, and bada bing bada boom, Radiant Warmogs looks great, Radiant BT looks good, and Radiant Archangel looks pretty bad in the stats, so really good to know these things. So I'm looking at Radiant Refactor here. I think Souless is probably checking the stats himself right now to know what to build and what to go for here, but I think it will be this. You would pop this here and see what our item is here, I would imagine, because if we want to make a Radiant Warmogs, and you could make it, he's got to go quickly though. Okay, he gets it at the last second, but this means he doesn't actually get the item yet, I believe. I think he has to wait till next round. The statistics, I think, yeah, the statistics certainly say it's Radiant Warmogs here. It could be though. Obviously, you know, stats aren't everything. It could certainly be that Souless has the read that like I want the scaling of something like Radiant Archangels, but yeah. I mean, the stats definitely say that it should be Radiant Warmogs here, but you know, either A, maybe Souless didn't have time to check the stats, or B, maybe he had an idea, like he had another reason why he wanted to go for this here. But in any case, getting a Radiant item onto this Elise feels pretty good, especially when we already have Elise 3. We're 7 streaking here, and you can just see the power of this augment, right? This Elise is so tanky, but also does so much damage every single time she casts. Just boom. This was 5.4k from the Elise, and she casted like 3 times, barely had any time for the Archangels to scale up. So yeah, the spot looks pretty good, I would say, and you can see why this augment is so strong, especially after the buffs to 4/6 Shapeshifter, the buffs to basically all the Shapeshifters. It's just a good augment, man. Chain open here, not so much that I'm interested in here. Maybe you just take something like a sword here to look for an item. We're gonna go for the cloak here for a gargoyle. I imagine that we don't really have anyone. I guess you could throw it onto the Nico here. But yeah, we can finally level up here. Souless actually was waiting on that level quite a while, but the idea is that he didn't really have anything to level for. He doesn't have like a hunter to get in on the board. Right now he's just playing double Jace on the board. But yeah, curious to see if there will be a Gargoyle Slam. I guess the idea from Cloak is probably Spark. You want MR Shred on this board, so that's why he takes Cloak here. So he's not going to make it Gargoyle. He's going to wait until he can get a Rod, make Spark to get some MR Shred on this board. I think theoretically you would prefer Shiv, just because Elise has that ability to target backline with her Poison with this Augment. But yeah, Hugify is so good. Maybe the best one that we could get. This all but guarantees our win streak here, which is absolutely huge for us. So yeah, we are hard chilling. Man, I wish I got a chance to play this Augment. I don't think I've gotten it a single time this set so far, but hey, maybe I'll luck myself into it after watching this VOD. All right, fighting a Scapegoat player. This person's playing Varus, which is a little annoying because maybe we'll have Varus onto our board. Certainly 6 Shapeshifter makes a lot of sense to play, and you can just play that kind of generic 6 Shapeshifter Varus board that, you know, it caps out pretty low, but it is sort of like a decent, like very easy board to play. We do finally pick up a Jinx if we're interested in getting Hunter in here. I mean, I think we're just going to push the levels. Ideally, obviously, we would like to pick up 6 Shapeshifter. We need to find Nasus at this point, and the way this board really caps out is playing around stuff like Briar. We do get our Rod there for Spark, which is really nice. He's looking at adding Eldritch here, which is interesting. I mean, it's not a bad random trade to get in. He's looking at putting the Spark, yep, onto the Nico here. I wonder if he goes for just another Crown Guard here, or if he wants to hold on to these components, because I mean, Crown Guard seems fine onto Nico. Looks like we're gonna fight someone relatively weak, so we're gonna wait on this Slam until we get Augment here. I wonder what you would save these components for if not Crown Guard. Crown Guard's fine. I mean, if you're a high roller and you hit a Briar sooner rather than later, then you can look at like an Edge of Night, but that's obviously if you're a high roller. Last Augment here, Support Golem, Item Collector, and LDP. Probably Support Golem, I would think, in this spot. Item Collector is also a very good Augment in general, but yeah, the statistics support Golem just a teeny tiny bit. I think it makes sense to go for Support Golem here. It can be selfish towards the Elise, I think is good. Ooh, he's gonna go for the Item Collector, okay. I mean, I guess we have a little bit extra items in general with the fact that we took the Radiant Refactor, so we have an extra component. Okay. I mean, Item Collector is very strong. Support Golem is also insane. I don't think you can really go wrong with that Augment. Also, so this is a cool choice here to not actually level in this situation, because we're actually a little bit poor because we're playing 1-cost hero. We're only 50 gold here. So if we want to actually level in this spot, we're gonna have to spend a lot of gold, and we do need to roll probably a decent bit to actually find something like a Nasus. Maybe we're a high roller, but you know, maybe we aren't. Dude, what are we fighting? Oh my god. This is Twitch Warwick Reroll, and they took what the Forge? For Scoreboard Scrapper? Who is this? This is their name is Rat? This person might be the god of TFT. That is such a cool setup. Their Blitzcrank items are very mid, but they rolled an amazing setup onto that Warwick there. The Vampiric Scepter is insane on him. Man, I need to go find that person's VOD, because that is an insane game, but I've never heard of them. I don't know if they stream. I don't know. If somebody knows who Rat is and they have a VOD, like, I'm down to watch that. Like, that is an insane setup. All right, into the Augment here. We're still holding on to those Crown Guard components plus Sword, I believe it was. You could look at something like a Shojin here. You could look at another, I mean, BT maybe, with the idea that you're gonna go onto or like that you can potentially hold it for Briar later. He's just gonna go for those are Rod, right? Yeah, he went for a Rod here. First troll, we get a Smolder, which is not bad, because now we can just start looking at playing this board. We do need to find, oh my, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was VOD reviewing a high roller. I mean, it's very fun to figure out how to optimize comps like this, but I won't lie to you, that's disgusting. That is actually like, there is nothing that you can say about that. I think he rolled 3 times, and in those 3 rolls, he found a Briar and a Smolder. What can you say? I mean, that's just a beast. That is just a beast. Like, I don't know what to say. All right. Well, the spot is still very nice. It's I mean, yeah, we can start itemizing potentially the Smolder here. Souless is going to opt to itemize the Smolder here. I think this makes sense. I think if you've seen this comp in action, Smolder is really, like, Smolder and Briar are the carries in this comp, and Varus is just kind of there. But oftentimes a Smolder 1 will do about the same damage as a Varus 2. So you might as well just throw items on the Smolder, especially because we're in such a spot that we can start pushing levels. And also note that we're feeding the Briar every round because we're playing for a win this game. We're 6 Shapeshifter here. Briar doesn't have items right now, but it's very reasonable that we end up getting to Briar items here. So we're playing for the win out, and I think feeding Briar makes very, very much sense there. Pick up a bow here, looking like that's going to be Gwinsu here from our items, and yeah, he throws the bow onto Smolder already. And then our last couple of items, we have something like an Edge of Night QSS if we wanted. I would really like a healing item onto Briar. Maybe a final item onto Smolder as well would be nice, but I just don't really see what it would be. You have something like maybe Guardbreaker Edge of Night actually sounds really, really nice. Maybe that. Guardbreaker Edge of Night. Yeah, that means you don't have like damage on Briar yet, but Edge of Night, or you don't have like healing on Briar yet, but yeah, it looks like Edge of Night. Ooh, he's going for TG. Huh. Not really sure why we went. I mean, TG onto Nasus seems solid, but I'm surprised that we don't actually go for a third Smolder item here. I mean, TG Nasus is definitely not bad, and then maybe his idea is that Guardbreaker is not good enough of an item on Smolder. I would imagine it's not bad because Smolder is, you know, attacking so frequently, would proc it on frontline and then start hitting backline, but not too bad either way. We win this fight pretty easily though, so we are now looking at potentially pushing levels. It'll be interesting to see when we actually do decide to push levels here. Souless is opting, looks like so far, not to push levels right now. He could actually, ooh, are we gonna push level? It looks like he's just waiting here, and he's not even buying Charm. I kind of like this a lot. Recognizing when you're in such a high roll spot that your board's this strong. Souless, once again, same thing with feeding the Briar, same thing with not actually picking up Charm here. Recognizes my spot is so good, I don't actually need a Charm in this spot. The only person I lose to is probably the person that I'm fighting right now, which is a little bit unfortunate that we did rotate to them, but still, 3-unit loss, not bad at all. And the idea is just going 9 at 5-5 with as much HP, well, as much econ as possible for the possibility of hitting stuff like a Smolder 2 and a Briar. I don't know what that was, little like bench Briar while you do that. I don't know, is that some like bug abuse thing he's trying to do? I'm not sure. But in any case, the spot looks fantastic here. We are fighting the other 1-cost reroller here in Zap Attack, and they also have, I forget what this one's called, Forbidden Idol? Is that what that one's called? Onto the Blitzcrank, which is making him kind of a beast. Yeah, we're gonna lose this fight as well. So feels a little bit bad, down to 39 HP, but we do know we're 50 gold here. We're pre-pumped super, super far. We are looking at just pushing level here and having an amazing spot. BT would be a fantastic last Briar item. There's also a random like Gunblade if we want it for Smolder here. Can't get that. There's also a Pyro Spat for Smolder, which is a little bit more, I don't actually know what the statistics say about Pyro +1 here, because I think just as a random item, it doesn't actually do that much. If you can get to something like 5 Pyro, it feels good, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how Souless plays this out, because this is something that I've asked myself before. He's not holding the extra Pyro units, so it looks like he's not interested in playing a 5 Pyro setup, but like, because you can drop 2 Shapeshifters here and play 5 Pyro, but is that worth it? Looks like Souless makes the call and says, no, it's not here. But yeah, I'm actually surprised about Pyro, because like, if you aren't playing the 5 Pyro, then Pyro +1 actually feels a little bit bad here. And we are actually going to lose another fight. Oh man, this game's starting to look a little scary. Obviously, we are really, really close to hitting a lot of stuff. Varus 2 and the Nasus 2 puts us in an okay spot, and we pick up an Econ Charm here. Now we're Briar paired. If we can find Briar 2, we'll feel good. We are also, note, just throwing this extra Melio onto our board. We are, you know, potentially farming an item for a Briar and for a Nico here, so I think this makes sense. I probably would have defaulted to just 3 Dragon, but I mean, it makes sense. This Melio unit is kind of broken, and getting an extra item onto this Briar here is huge for us, so it I could certainly see it. The statistics tend to actually like 3 Dragon a lot, which is surprising to me because I don't, like, in my head it doesn't do that much, but I guess like healing onto the Smolder actually matters a good bit, just keeping him alive longer. All right, so we're Briar paired here. We really just need to get to Briar 2 here, and then we can look at potentially winning the lobby. Smolder 2, obviously another big hit for us if we can get there, so yep, let's just chill here. Gonna even cut the dragons. You can also fit Nami I feel like the best unit to fit in is actually Nora on this board. And yep, there's the Nora immediately. The second I say it, she pops up. Last item, well, another item here. Ugh, what are we taking here? Warmogs? I don't really love Titan's Briar, but maybe we're just gonna go for it. Okay, we are gonna go for the Titan's Briar. I'm a little afraid with no healing, but I mean, I guess we've pumped up enough HP that she's gonna be fine here. Yeah, she easily gets to 25 stacks. I'd love to get a healing item onto her last so that she can actually last forever here. And ooh, speaking of lasting forever, oh my god, the Smolder's flying around the Blitzcrank, but you can't stop him, man. You can't stop him here. We're one off both here. Boom, there's Briar 2, which is huge. We can also even look at Enhance there, but he opted not to go for it. Okay. Maybe looking for a Combat Charm there. Okay, we're going to full frontline our board here. Now that we have Briar 2, he's going to go for the feed. I mean, yeah, 9 HP, 12 HP, no diff. They're both going to be 1 life. So you might as well feed, especially when she's a Briar 2. You can just feed her down to 3 HP probably. I mean, I like it. We are fighting this Warwick guy again with such a strong board. Can Briar 2 actually be enough to beat this guy? The full Titan stack seems amazing here. And oh my god, we do beat him. Huge, huge, huge there. Top 3 for that player there. And ooh, we get a temporary artifact actually for the Anima Visage. This is really, really nice. And yep, another feed for Briar makes sense to me. We are still looking at potentially winning this lobby. A lot of hero augments doing well in this game. It's the Blitzcrank player, us, and then this person who is Scoreboard Scrapper, though they have secret hero augment Warwick where they got all of these 3 one-cost reroll comps actually. Top 3 is pretty crazy to see here. All right, Briar's doing so much. Look how tanky this Briar is and how much damage she's outputting, man. She just sits in the entire enemy board, does infinite damage. That player goes down. A very, very sad third for them, but you know, top 3 is a top 3. Last Briar item here, we'd love some kind of healing, and yeah, Declaw actually, I think this makes a lot of sense, right? We're fighting into Zap attack here. It's going to be some amount of healing onto Briar here. I actually love it. And then roll shop for all 5 costs. We actually miss on the Smolder, which is very, very sad, but I mean, hey, it's okay. Do we have Briar paired with Nora? I imagine that's the pairing here with the idea that we have Briar 2 here, but I didn't actually see... Oh no, we have it on Smolder. Interesting. Okay. I think I like it better onto Briar, but Smolder's certainly not bad because, you know, he also really needs that healing. Can we get through this Blitzcrank? Oh my god, he's taking so long. Smolder's doing a lot of damage, though. We do get through. We got one more fight here. We can roll down, hopefully pick up a Smolder too. That would be big. Anti-crowd control doesn't actually do that much here. Yordle Spirit, though, seems quite nice. It doesn't actually stop Blitzcrank, which is the only sad part, but it's good enough that I think you would take it here. And yeah, he does pair it again with the Smolder here. So I think Souless has an idea that you really, really want to pair it with Smolder in spots like these. The Declaw, man, so good. They're also Vagar here. Briar just teleports to the entire enemy team, does 1 billion damage, and this fight doesn't even look close, man. Briar tanked for so long, and it is going to be a dub for Mr. Souless. Certainly a high roll game, but a fun game to watch play out, and I think we had a lot of really, really cool discussion about itemization onto something like an Elise there. So very, very enjoyable. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, remember, once again, link down below to my Metafy group. You get a lot of cool stuff and help me out winning the Metafy contest. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.